The dead speak! Somehow, Anuba Prancet has returned. Last time on Square Roots, Denim meets a blind man, Oz creeps around, and Katua enjoys her new goth look. Later, Vice says hello to the Duke. Hey Duke, nice to meet you.
What's happening here?
Hey everyone, and welcome to Square Roots. I am your host, as always, Johnny Brandon, and with me are my bestest friends. Let's start with one. Her name is Vanessa.
Hi, I'm Vanessa, and as always, I go second in the introductions.
Exactly. And, of course, there is Matthew Zoot Suit Riot Van Zant.
I'm Matthew Zoot Suit Riot Van Zant.
On the show, we play a classic RPG, one chunker at a time. This is chunker 6, I believe. So if
7.
No, this is chunker 6, I believe. And if you want to go back and start at the beginning, I do recommend you do that. So you can go on.
You're right.
Your podcast app. You can go to season 65 and episode 1. That's how this podcast works. I've heard when I host, I sound like I am a robot. But that's just how I host.
You do sound like you're reading a script, and
yes,
you also sound like you're expecting a lot of new listeners this week, and yes. I can't see why you would think that would be the case.
See, I'm Johnny. I'm the robotic host of the show, and that was Vanessa.
You're an AI-generated host that we have programmed to host the show for us.
Yeah, well, they have locked the real Johnny in a closet, so this is your...
I doubt he's still alive.
AI host.
I don't know. You were right. This is 6. We skipped 4 somehow.
You skipped 4
I guess
somehow.
It was me. Yeah, I guess it would have been me.
I've been keeping the numbers. I'm king of the numbers. Anyway, so
that's because you're a robot.
Because I'm a robot. I know numbers. Vanessa is cool but rude, and Matthew does machines.
I thought I was cool but rude.
No, it's me.
Well, we're all mixing things up. It's all topsy-turvy.
Well, can I at least be a party dude?
No.
But I'm not good with machines at all.
Nope. It's your job to fix the machine. That's why everything's always broken around here.
That's why everything's always broken. Because you put the party dude in the machine slot.
Well, you know what? I didn't want you to feel typecast as just like the cool party dude.
Also, you're a robot. Shouldn't you be fixing the machines?
Well, as long as Vanessa doesn't do me.
And Jim's the boring leader. But he's not here this week.
Oh, right. You're cool. Leader. Sorry, you're cool but rude. Matt does machines, but that doesn't. You know what? This just Matt. You're a party dude. Yeah, it's all wrong. Everything's wrong. You know what? I heard there was
Jim's still the boring leader, though, right?
Yeah, he's the Leonardo.
Fine.
Hi, Jim. I know you're editing this episode, so
yeah. I would never call Jim boring. He's everyone's favorite host, according to anonymized listeners.
That's true.
I mean, that's not true. We have had several people say that you and Vanessa are their favorite hosts. Never me.
I don't
no.
Never that there is a reason for anyone to be ranking us to our faces.
I agree with that as well.
Do that in the
I think a couple of people have told me that I'm their favorite host, actually.
Yeah,
which is,
they have.
Feels nice, but also like we don't need that.
I've never heard anyone say I'm their favorite host because I'm like,
oh, that's
You're
ridiculous.
My favorite host.
You are widely the favorite host.
That is not true.
Clearly, Vanessa's favorite host as well.
You're the most famous. You're the cutest, and everybody loves you.
Aww.
Vanessa's my 3rd favorite host, but only because I hate myself.
Aww. So, I heard there was some hot gaming news, which is always, new listeners, that's our first segment of the show. We go through the here's what news is. News is stuff that has happened recently
I regret
in reality.
all of the decisions that we've made thus far in this episode, and I would like to start back from zero, listen to the level for the last time on again, and I'll host the fucking show.
The dead speak. Somehow, Anuba Prancet has
No,
returned.
no.
All right.
So,
Fucking now we're back in Fortnite land.
yeah,
I have some hot gaming news.
yeah.
Oh.
All right, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and interject before I start talking about hot gaming news and say Jim is out this week because he had a business trip and also diarrhea. And also, as per our episode last week, the level up is now at the back end of the episode. If you come here just for that, for God knows what reason, you can check the notes and there will be a timestamp, Julie. You're welcome.
Yes. We call it the Julie stamp.
We should call it the Julie stamp. Hot gaming news. The first hands-on impressions of Dragon Age. The Veil Girl.
People love it.
Oh, golly. Oh, they do?
Boy,
Yeah.
some people love it, and some people hate it.
Oh.
no.
Mixed reviews.
Well, I think that's okay. Not every game's for everyone, but from what I've heard, people are excited about it and that it's
All right.
really fun.
Yes, I would like to hear the positives from Johnny, and then I will give the negatives that I
I
heard.
don't know if I want to hear either of these, to be honest with you.
Take
Well,
your headphones off. You're
no,
not gonna listen.
no, Vanessa, it's not spoilery. I didn't read it. It just like there was one description that's like this is the Mass Effect 2 of Dragon Age. I'm like, oh, well, that's really cool.
Dragon Age.
Dragon Age.
Hey,
Dragon.
I want to go in blind, you know?
Yeah, she wants to go in blind.
Well, that's all I know. That's literally it. That was
All right.
Okay.
the
I'm
statement.
going
All
to take
right.
my headphones off from
Now
Matt's
take your
portion.
headphones off.
Okay.
So the scuttlebutt in our Discord channel today is that it is very linear. It's like a corridor game of the old, what would you call that? The 2010s, like the Final Fantasy 13s,
Oh,
the
wow.
Castlevania Lords of Shadows, and the Metal Gear 4s. It's just basically go on a mission and then come back to your base and go on a mission. It's not like an open world or even a semi-open world.
Huh.
People are disappointed. Also, it's very combat heavy and very much like a Souls-like, which is what I was afraid of. Hopefully, it'll have an easy mode. Still looking forward to it. Really want to play it for sure. But gonna go in with a little bit of
Trepidation.
Yes, a little trepidation. Just not gonna get my hopes up too high because you know how that is. All right.
I do.
Anyway, that's my hot Dragon Age news. Johnny, did you have anything? And let's wave to Vanessa. She's not looking at the screen, which is going to make it real hard to get her back in. Put your phone away.
We communicated properly. I've got news. Have you seen those sneaky photos that people have been sharing that could be a render, but of the Switch 2? And apparently it's going to be called the Switch 2. I don't buy it.
And I think that after the Wii U debacle, they are not fucking around anymore.
And they didn't
I
want...
have seen renderings of a Switch.
It looks like a Switch.
It is a little more like legitimately does look just like a Switch, but like it's a little more curved. Like it reminds me of like the iPhones that go through the phases of being blocky sometimes and sometimes being very rounded. This is a little more rounded. But yes, it very much just looks exactly like the Switch.
Do you think that
But hey, if it ain't broke.
Joy-Cons will be compatible with the Switch 2?
No.
I hope not, because they're terrible and busted, and I hope that they fix this broken Joy-Con thing. I have gone through 5 or 6 sets, maybe 7 sets of Joy-Cons in the last few years. It's outrageous.
I think the games will be, but the Switch 2 Joy... Oh, actually, that's not true. Yes, but they won't clip onto it. I think that...
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Different port.
Yeah, because the ports are different. It's using magnets and not the slidey rails. Those rails were
Sounds
bad.
Fucking magnets, how do they work?
I'm gonna be snapping them off all the time. What are they, fucking super magnets next to my computer?
They're the kind of magnets that turn on and off with an electric charge. So, like, you just press a button and they go bloop. That's what I heard.
I saw some leaked specs that I didn't really look too deep into, but I wonder, like, how powerful
It actually
this thing
sounds
supposed
like
to
it's
be?
got 2 sticks of 6 gigabytes of RAM, so it has more RAM than a Xbox Series S, and it has the CPU. The CPU is actually pretty good. Like the system on the chip, and it's got what's that, VRSS, the NVIDIA upscaling technology, which, I use that when I play a game on PC. I might have a little bit of upscale on it. Too much and it starts looking noisy and like there's streaks and like it's all like gross looking. But a little bit top res, sure. And so I think that it could be a really good solution to play stuff that looks pretty close to current on a portable system. It's going to look as good as a Steam Deck or whatever, and I think that
is it good for it to be like still less powerful than the current other consoles? Shouldn't it at least be like a tick stronger than those things?
It can't.
It can't.
Yeah, like the Steam Deck's not as powerful as current consoles. It's not as powerful as the Series X or Series S. But yeah, a step behind with some new upscaling technology. That, to me, that's great.
Yeah. I have never really had complaints about the way games look on the Switch. I thought Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom were some of the best looking games I'd ever played.
Yep.
I loved, they know where to focus the graphics to make it look good, even though it's not as powerful as, the Xbox or the PlayStation or PC. And that's been fine by me for fucking 6 years now. I love my Switch.
Well, and like I was reading reports that, the Steam Deck will be useless by 2025 or 2026 because it'll be too old for new games. And that's not true. Like, the graphics cards that came out 10 years ago are still being supported. Like graphics, there's sort of a roadblock. What do you call that? Where it's like limited. The more power and energy they put into graphics, like limited results, limited returns, whatever you call that, diminishing returns. Yeah, diminishing returns. Yeah. Like if you look at some games from 2018, which is that's 6 years ago. I think they still look great, like God of War and all that, or even like Final Fantasy 15. I think is a great looking game, and that is 8 years old. And so,
well,
I don't mind if it's it's going to be way more powerful than the current Switch, which I still enjoy and play games on. I play non-Nintendo games on my Switch all the time.
No way.
Yeah.
It's true.
I'm very excited for it. I guess, like, I know that the Switch is a little long in tooth, and I'm ready to see them upgrade. I don't necessarily need it, but I'll end up getting it for sure. Like, I have just really enjoyed this Switch this whole time. So
that's the only system that I know I'm going to get from future systems. Like, I'm not going to get a PS5 Pro most likely, and I'm not going to get
got zero interest in that.
Whatever the next PS6 and Xbox. I might get those. We'll see, but I don't know. My PC does
more PlayStation and Xbox first party games coming to PC.
Yeah.
Why would you not just stick with PC?
Yeah, I think that's what they're digging themselves into
none
that
of them
hole.
Seem to have good reasons. Yeah, I mean, they've done it to themselves, I think.
The only beef is with the new Switch that I have the OLED and it's so pretty, and the next Switch won't have an OLED, and that in 2 years or 3 years they'll do the OLED version.
Release the OLED,
yeah. But I'll probably just get one, then just trade it in when the OLED one comes out, like I did last time.
Yeah. Also, we'll see. We'll have to kind of. I'm curious what the day one release games are going to be. I mean, maybe they've been secretly working on a new Mario. It's been a long time since Odyssey came out. I doubt we're seeing a new Zelda anytime soon.
What about
At least
Wonder?
A big one. That's fair and true, but I'm talking about full proper 3D.
A real Mario.
Fun. Hey, I loved Wonder. I was all about Wonder, but I'm talking about a 3D game and not the 2D throwback games that are fun but are not quite as in depth. I doubt we're going to be getting a new Zelda announcement anytime soon. It feels like I feel like they need some sort of surprise to really hook people on this new Switch. They need some day one games, and I just don't. I can't imagine what it could be other than maybe a new Mario.
Animal Crossing 2?
Yeah, maybe another Animal Crossing
2. But Vanessa, the first Animal Crossing came out in 2001, didn't it?
What?
It's true. How dare you? There's a really cool retro-looking PS5 Pro that's like gray like the original PS5, and the controllers look like the original PS1 controllers. And
Hey, Matt.
it looks neat.
Matt. The more Johnny talks about how he's not going to get a PS5 Pro, the more convinced I am that he is absolutely getting a PS5 Pro.
Well,
Johnny's got a real FOMO issue with consoles. And
Now
video
he's talking
games.
about how there's a special one that looks retro and cool, and you know.
Johnny, you don't need a PS5 Pro, buddy.
I
You
haven't.
don't need it.
Have I
Promise
bought
you.
one? Have you seen me buy one?
I mean, are they out?
No,
no,
they're not
they're-
available for
that's
sale.
All right. Is there any other hot gaming news?
Yes. Vanessa, you go.
Vanessa's turn. Yeah.
October 10th, mark your calendars. Power Washer Simulator plus Shrek
Okay,
drops.
Hang on. Nope. Hang on. I gotta. Oh, that was. We already. I'm sure we talked about that already.
It didn't have a drop date. This is
Oh, you're right.
hot
You're right.
news. So take the day off and prepare to power wash.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
That's
I'm gonna
it.
take next Thursday off and play Legend of Zelda fucking Echoes of Wisdom or whatever. Like, that's my whole life now. I
Oh,
want to play
wow.
that game so bad I can taste it. It tastes like butterflies and princess.
Pal World.
Oh, that's some big
Sued
news.
by Nintendo as a patent thing? I don't know what the difference between a
Yeah.
copyright lawsuit and a patent lawsuit is, but
If I had to guess what the difference between a copyright and a patent is, I would say that a copyright applies to a fixed piece of creative work for a certain duration of years, depending on whether or not it was a work for hire, whereas a patent refers to a particular advancement in technology rather than a piece of art. And then that patent would attach for, I don't know, like 30 years, something like that, so that you have exclusive use of it.
oh, okay. There's a statement from Pocket Pair, that's the developer of Pal World. This
I would take anything they say at this point with a huge grain of salt.
Sure. This is from Video Games Chronicle. Yesterday, a lawsuit was filed against our company for patent infringement. We have received notice of this lawsuit and will begin the appropriate legal proceedings and investigations to the claim of patent infringement. At this moment, we are unaware of the specific patents we are accused of infringing upon. We have not been notified of such details.
Ah, okay. I thought that I saw a statement that was like, "We're gonna fight this," and I
Yeah,
was
yeah,
kind of
they
like,
are.
"Okay, yeah, no, sure, good, best of luck to you, sirs." And I'm not. I'm neither for nor against whatever the name of this company is, but come on,
I don't know what, like, plus also,
come on.
you know, that, like, I don't know what patent laws are like in Japan, because they're both Japanese companies. Are they suing them in Japan or the US? Who knows?
That's a good question. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know anything
I
about
believe it's in Japan.
patent law anywhere,
I
obviously,
think I read
but
that.
I don't especially know about it in Japan.
All right. Is there any other HGN that we want to cover?
I don't have anything.
I do. I guess kind of. Just not necessarily like super hot gaming news so much, but just like something I found. A couple of things I found of interest. Number one, that Space Marine 2 looks pretty fucking good, and I won't play it. That's not hot gaming news. That's just Matthew aspirations. And number two, y'all remember that Funko Pop Fusion game that got announced?
No.
Wasn't there
That
going to be a
came
Funko Gears of War game? Did that ever come out?
It was part of that Funko Pop Fusion game.
Oh.
And that came out like with a whisper because it's been out for weeks and I had no idea it was out, and apparently the reviews are bad. Bad.
The first time I saw a Funko Pop, I thought it was ugly and dumb. And then, like everyone else, I ended up getting a few Funko Pops. Just for, like, various... Matt is holding up a Funko and having it glare at me.
It's
because
a
I called it ugly
PUBG.
and
It's a
dumb.
PUBG
Yeah.
Funko.
You know, people give them to you as gifts, or maybe it's the pandemic and you're in lockdown and you decide you absolutely have to have the Avengers eating shawarma limited series Funko Pops that all click together. I don't know why you would, but I have now reached the point where I'm back to thinking that they're ugly and dumb, and I have to figure out what to do with 6 Avengers limited edition Funko Pops
That click together eating shawarma.
I own one Funko Pop of a PUBG Survivor, and I do like my one PUBG Survivor Funko Pop because I like PUBG. But other than that, I agree. They're ugly, and I think they're stupid. And I think that collecting them is, boy, stop it. Please stop it. I used to work with somebody that had a massive collection of Funko Pops in their boxes on his desk. It was weird.
If it gives you joy,
yeah,
then I think that it's fine.
Well, I saw a great meme that was like Funko Pops, a.k.a. Precious Moments figurines for millennials.
Yeah.
Aww. I've got a Jake the dog and Finn the human one, and a Claptrap one, and a Leather Pete from Kingdom Hearts. And I'm never getting rid of that Leather Pete. I do want to get there's an action figure version of that I want to get as well.
I think I have a Jareth from Labyrinth, and I also have a Lin-Manuel Miranda from Mary Poppins 2, which is a movie I have never seen. That was given to me. And then the aforementioned Avengers ones. And then I think one year someone got me like a Funko Advent calendar that had like teeny weeny ones in it. I might be making that up. I don't know what's in my house. I have to downgrade so much. I have too much stuff.
Burn it down. That's what I do.
No, thank you, please.
Once every 10 years or so.
I live
Set
here.
it on fire.
I can't.
All right, before we dive into the quest log, we do have a couple of quick plugs we want to do. Number one is for our hot, new-ish stream. Check out the Square Roots channel on Square Roots podcast channel on YouTube for weekly streams from your favorite Square Roots hosts. This week, which would be this previous week, Vanessa and I did a great stream where we played a game called Long Live the Queen.
Woohoo! Johnny
was a
came for a little bit too.
Yep, it was a delightful princess simulator. We had a great time. The week before that, or a few days before that, Jim and I played the entirety of the new game Hollow Body. We streamed from 8 p.m. to 1:30 in the morning. And weekly on Wednesdays, we do a stream. Next week, the week that this episode drops, we'll be doing a kind of mid-game Q&A discussion of Phantasy Star 1 and whatever else. And then the week following that, I'll be starting Illusion of Gaia. And on top of that, Jim has lots of great extra kind of Scare Roots streams planned. So check that channel, turn your notifications on, subscribe, like all of our videos, and we would appreciate it. And speaking of YouTube, somebody in this show has a secret.
Ooh. Is it me?
What's the secret?
Bears in Games.
It's not a secret.
Neo! Speaking of, somebody suggested to me today that now that Mr. Beast is canceled, you should change the name of your channel to Mr. Bear. Mr. Bears.
Mr. Bearst.
No. Yeah.
Johnny, can I have $10,000 to play hide and seek?
No? Why would I?
Oh, you're the worst, Mr. Bearst.
Oh. Now, I haven't been able to do a video in the past week or two. Just I've been busy, but I'll do something soon. I'm working on it, just not currently
yeah, I was
and
gonna
actively.
say, I know you're going to do something soon because you've already told us what you're working on.
Yeah, but right now I'm working on Time Suck called Tactics Ogre.
Yeah, Johnny's not finishing this game. I'm calling it now.
What?
It's not happening.
Johnny always finishes the games.
In fact, first of all, that is no longer true. And second of all,
How is that no longer true?
I also, because there are games you haven't finished.
Which
Johnny.
ones?
And also,
Name one.
also,
Which
Name one.
Name one.
I don't remember.
Name-
I finished.
God, do I have to do everything.
I've finished all the games we've played, all 65. Well, 64 we've played for the main show.
Except
Did
for
you
Final
finish them all?
Fantasy VI.
Before we recorded the final episode?
I think so.
Lies. The listeners know. Also, I suspect Jim won't be finishing this game, so I think it's going to be a two-hander next week for the end of
believe in
Tactics
Jim.
Ogre.
I'm going to put this out there. I know that it's an odd position to take.
Wait. So we are finishing?
you-
I thought you were giving me time if I couldn't finish it next week.
That's what he promised.
Yeah.
He also thought that this was episode 7.
You said it was fine.
We could do 2 more and have a nice, normal 8-episode series. There's
That's
no need
true.
to push
A
it.
lot of my calculations were based on a miscalculation of how many episodes this had taken.
Yeah.
On the other hand, I have not looked at the upcoming game, so I don't know where to split it. So
It's not your...
Yeah, it's
Oh,
not
I
you.
see what you're saying. No,
Huh?
he meant the upcoming chunker, not the upcoming game.
Oh, I think. Are you sure? Okay, I'm very
positive
confused.
That's what he meant.
yeah, only one of those made sense.
Yeah.
So let's go with the one that made sense.
Okay. Yeah,
Certainly
so
wasn't talking about Dishonored.
if you do 2 more episodes, I could finish the game. If you do 1 more episode, it's going to be rough.
2. We
2.
want 2.
2.
This is supposed to be a plug for Bears and Games Neo.
Well, I can't do it because I'm playing so much Tactics Ogre.
Sorry, the game is long. What do you want from me? I
Two
didn't make the game.
2 chunkers is what we want from you. We've been very clear.
Yes. Yeah, we want 2 chunkers.
Okay, well, I guess next time on the Square Roots podcast, we're playing half of the rest of the game.
Yay!
And now let's move on to Squarely Engaged.
All right. So, I guess it's questlog time, but before that, I'm going to pee.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Okay. Questlog, it's time for the questlog. Questlog, it's time for the questlog. That's the questlog song this week. Brought to you by Matthew Van Zandt.
It was great.
Thank you. We open at Heim Castle.
What's there?
Lancelot, good, is shackled to a wall
Oh,
in the
no.
dungeon. And Lancelot, bad, enters and spouts some cool fascism talking points. The people yearn to be enslaved or whatever. I don't know. He sounds like Donald Trump. I hate his guts.
He's weird. Did he sort of imply that Lancelot Good is the reason he only has 1 eye? Or did I make that up?
I don't know, but maybe. I don't know that I... So, now that we're deeper into this game, I understand things a bit better. Mm-hmm. And I understand that the Dark Knights, who I initially thought were like a faction of the Bakram, are not. They are from the continent. They're from Lotus. And they have come to... what's this called? Valeria? I may have mixed those up. They've come to Valeria, the Isles, for like nefarious purposes, and they allied themselves with the Bakram, but they are not Bakram, which kind of explains some things that I was confused about earlier in the game about the Dark Knights signing treaties with Duke Runway and stuff.
Right. They're just kind of their own thing, right?
Well, they're from the
But they're
other...
extremely powerful, and yeah, that's what I just said, John.
Yeah.
And we are going to learn this week why they are here in Lotus here in Valeria to start with.
But why do they have
anyway.
Lancelot Good? And what is his relationship with Lancelot Bad? Are they supposed to be twin brothers? Because I could not tell from the sprite art.
Yeah, you know how you name your twins the same name?
Yeah.
Spelled the same? You know how you name your kids the same name spelled the same? Your
Yep.
twins?
Yeah.
That's like Jim and his twin Jim.
Yep.
Famous twin
What was
sister of the show.
who's that boxer
Jim
who
Bex.
named all his kids the same? George Foreman.
George
Yeah,
Foreman.
George
Named them all
Foreman.
George Jr., Georgie, George Jr., George 2, George Jr., George.
George
It's fucking
Good,
wild.
George Bad.
He also clearly has like brain damage, so
Wow.
it's that's not a joke.
Yeah.
I
Well,
did not just make a joke.
Repeated concussions can be bad.
Absolutely. It's not a radical thing to suggest that someone whose job is to get hit in the head
Yeah.
might have some head damage.
Yeah.
Anyway, Katiwa enters the dungeon and basically just talks shit about Denim. Like, she's a real fucking
What's
snake.
her issue, though? Seriously. Like,
all she wanted was for Denim to need her, and he didn't need her, and now she fucking hates him.
And she's got a way cooler outfit. She looks like Michelle Pfeiffer in Batman.
Yep, she's wearing a cat suit.
Yep.
And I mean a literal cat
Yep.
suit, and not the clothing called a cat suit. She's got the pointy ears, she's got the tail, she's got the claws. I think she fell into a dump truck full of kitty litter, and it turned her insane.
Yeah.
All right, anyway, that's
Cat
our opening
to,
cutscene. We cut away to... Oh, no.
They're there all along.
It was there all along. Yeah, it's like a portmanteau of cat, woman, and hawk tua.
Oh, no.
Cat-tua.
No.
No, we don't want that.
No, I didn't want it the minute it happened, and I'm mad that people are still talking about it. At Fidget Castle,
You are.
Denim speaks
People
to
is you.
messenger.
Nobody talks about
informs
it more
him.
than you. You are, according to my circle of friends, the #1
Yes.
Squaw Girl fan.
Well, at first it was Jim.
She does have some... She's a good-looking girl. That's all I'm going to say. Cut that!
Downtown Brown.
Downtown Brown. At Fidget Castle, we cut to Fidget Castle. Denim is there speaking to a messenger who informs him that Lancelot, good, is imprisoned at Heim. And then we learn that some soldiers at Brigantis have taken hostages and are demanding our surrender. And Denim decides to go speak with them, and you get a big option here to go speak with them one-on-one unarmed, or to show up with your army. I wasn't paying a lot of attention, so guess what I did?
Well,
Yeah, same.
It's not a it's not one of those choices that's just like choose from a menu. You actually have to go take all your equipment off and then remove everyone else from your battle party, and then you can get the cutscene and skip like 2 fights.
One fight.
Or 1 fight, sorry.
Yeah,
We
I didn't
arrived at
do
the
this,
great-
and I feel guilty about it now.
Me too. I felt guilty. I didn't realize I could do it. And at the time, I still felt guilty because they really guilt trip you. Like,
I
why are you
know.
killing people?
But then
It's
they
like they were
also,
attacking
like,
me.
They show up and they're like, you're like, I don't want to fight you. And they're like, well, then why are you here? Attack him. Like, they were the instigators.
Yeah, and well, I like that for me because I showed up with just Denim unarmed, and the 2 guards start arguing with each other. It was like, can't you tell who this is? This is Denim of Goliath. And the other one's like, oh, I always knew your kind would betray us. And he's like, my kind? I'm gonna kill you. And then the lady, Olivia, shows up and she's like, you guys stop fighting.
Yeah, knock it
Yeah, we basically have to
off.
fight our way in, but then the same thing happens. Olivia comes out and is like, stop it, you fucking idiots.
I know this
It's worth
guy.
pointing out
We
here
were
that
like besties.
part of what's going on here at Brigantis is that there's like a faction that I didn't write the name down of, so who cares? But there's a faction of like non-clan affiliated, just kind of randos that are just super into Katua as the princess.
Yeah, they're the Philoflops.
Yeah, something.
Philo down. They're the same as your dad was like a priest of. I don't know. Like that's what he's an Abuna of.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right. It's whatever that religion is.
Yeah.
They are.
So Olivia shows up.
comes out.
I didn't have to fight anybody. It was great.
Yeah, you already told us that. Why are you bragging?
I'm bragging.
Brag.
I'm
He's
bragging.
so proud of himself for like reading the dialogue and clocking
Reading a
that you can
fact.
Take your clothes off. Oh, you read a fact.
Yeah.
Of course he did. Olivia stops us from fighting anybody else, and she tells us that Abuna Prancet is here.
Not
but
Abuna
there isn't
Prancet.
much time. Yep.
Your dad's here, and well, I don't know. Okay, did you get the dialogue where she was like, "So, do you remember like when you were little?"
Yes.
And you had that bestest friend, and
That happens after this whole...
Yeah, it happened after for me.
oh, did it? Oh, okay. I thought it happened before. but I could be wrong.
She tells us that Abuna Prancet is here, but there isn't much time because he was tortured by the Dark Knights and poisoned. And that's me summarizing because they're like, they forced a vile liquid upon him. I don't know what any of that means.
Yeah,
That
they
does-
just really
poisoned
like get into what happened to Abuna Prancet.
That's
Yeah,
what Oz and
like-
Ozma in your version were insinuating. Like, we did a naughty thing to your papa.
I see.
That gave me shivers and not the good kind.
Frisson.
We rush to meet Abuna Prancet, Denham's adopted father, and he
Abuna
tells
Prancet.
us a surprising fact that we've never heard before. Katua is not our birth sister.
Oh.
Okay, we had heard it before, and I was wrong last week. Shut up.
So in mine, he had actually just been dying. He wasn't. He was never imprisoned by the dark.
Oh, yeah.
The Dark Knights. He was actually. They found him in a plague hole. He went to go hole up with other people dying of a disease, and so that's where he was, like in a plague internment.
That's definitely where they found him with us, too. But with us, it was obvious that Oz and Ozma had, like, dumped him there because they
Oh,
poisoned him.
okay.
and
No, this he's like,
tortured him
I knew
first.
this would catch up to me eventually, son. Let me see you with my own eyes.
Weird.
He didn't say
weird
that.
difference
That's
between
a line from the
versions.
film Star Wars by George Lucas.
No, I don't
Oh.
mean that. I just mean in general.
Actually, it's a line from the film Return of the Jedi.
Thank you for the specificity.
So we find out that not only is Katua not Denham's sister, but also her mother was one of the Queen's handmaidens.
Oh, you
Now
get
it's
such a
time
great
for a
flashback here.
Flashback!
This is an amazing flashback.
Tell us about it, Vanessa.
So we have the queen. She's like standing out in a garden, and her handmaid approaches and asks for some time off. And she's like, the queen's like, I know exactly what you've been doing. And the handmaid's like, you've been sleeping with my husband, the king, you whore. And then the handmaid freaks out and she's like, I'm so sorry, I'll just leave. And the queen's like, you're not leaving. You're going to live here for the rest of your life and you're going to serve me and be my slave to make up for sleeping with my husband. And you're going to hang around and see how he doesn't even like you. He likes me better. Which is a weird choice, you know?
She also says, like, oh, I know that a lowborn like my husband would be attracted to trash
Yeah,
like
that's
you.
true. She does say that her husband was born a commoner. And she's like, no wonder he wanted to sleep with a commoner. Whatever. You're my slave now.
There's a really great animation of her slapping Manaflora. What was the queen's name? Vanessa, I think.
Yeah, Vanessa. And
Yeah.
then Manaflora is just sort of lolling around on the ground. And
Rubbing her
the
tummy.
queen's- Yeah, the
Yeah,
queen's
rubbing
like,
her tummy.
oh no, you're not pregnant, are you? Gross. And then Manaflora runs away into the night.
Cut to
And,
Abuna's.
Cut to the
Yep.
Abunas. And Abuna someone.
Branton.
Abuna Branton
Abuna Branton.
and Abuna Prancet
And
are discussing the
Prancet.
situation.
And Abuna Prancet's like, hey, take this baby girl. And Abuna Prancet's like, I can't do that. And then Branton's like, sure you can. Your biological daughter just died. Don't you want a baby? Which is exactly
this.
how it works.
It's Branton tells Prancet to take the baby. The mother died in childbirth.
Yeah.
And Branton and Prancet agree to keep it all a secret and for Prancet to raise the baby as his own.
Baby's got a secret.
But then we cut back to the present, and Prancet tells Denham that Branton deceived him and used that information to advance his position.
Right.
Damn it,
He also
Branton.
tells us that the Dark Knights don't even actually give a shit about Katua or the throne, and that all they want is the legacy of her father. And we don't really know what that is, but it's in the king's tomb. And he tells us that they are definitely going to kill Katua when they get what they want.
He seems to imply that there's a blood seal on the tomb. So they have to have
Yeah.
a descendant of King Branton, too.
Nope.
Nope.
Definitely not King Branton.
Yeah.
Branton's in Abuna. I didn't write the name of the king down because I was like, who cares?
King Beefy Bear.
King Beefy Bear to, I guess, unlock the tomb. So Denim is sort of like, okay, I guess I'll go get my sister.
Yeah, Prancet is like, please save your sister. Like, she's misguided, but she's your sister and I love her. And he tells us that, like, he had the opportunity to, like, reveal her when the king died, but he couldn't do it because he loved her so much that he just couldn't bear to lose her. It's pretty sweet, actually.
Yeah. And
He's
then
a
he
good dad.
dies.
He dies.
And there's a really great, I wish I'd taken a screenshot of it, of him yelling father, and there's a special little sprite illustration of Denim yelling.
It's beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Father!
After Abuna Prancet dies, this is when we go back out and talk to Olivia, and Olivia's like, hey, remember when you were a little boy and you used to play with 4 sisters? And he's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, no, that was Katua. Wait, was it Katua? There's not 4 Katuas, right?
Yeah.
I'm confused.
He's like, yeah, Katua fell in a well. And she's like, it wasn't Katua. He's like, Katua fell in a well, and then Katua dragged me out when I tried to save Katua from the well.
I really like that, because I thought that's the sort of, when you try to remember something, you're like, wait, I don't remember that being you there. And someone's like, no, that's not exactly what happened. And your memory's screwed up. Like, that happens in real life. And I thought that was good writing, basically.
You are always
absolutely
telling me that all of my memories are false, Johnny.
It's true.
Well, yeah, but that's also because he's gaslighting
Yeah,
you.
exactly.
So he can steal your fortune.
Yeah.
So Olivia explains that, like, she was your friend when you were growing up. And then these other 2 girls who we've been dragging around, the Resistance Head, and then
Karya
her
and
sister,
Sistina.
who doesn't want to fight. They come in and they're like, Olivia, our sister, hey, what's up? And you're like, wait a minute, you 2 were the other girls that Denim played with, and you just like didn't mention it.
I don't have these other girls in my party.
We got 3 girls now, 3 out of 4 sisters, and we're told that the 4th sister has betrayed them and
joined Branton.
They
also mentioned that their father is missing, and nobody knows where he is, and surprise, that's going to come into play.
Well, for me, my father, Abuna Prancet, told me to find Abuna Babuna, and she's like, oh yeah, Mabuna is my dad. And I was like, okay, where do you think your dad could be? And he's like, well, I don't know. Because, like with politics, you think he started out as a holy man, but his job was political. And as soon as you start getting political, then things go bad and you have to start making moral compromises. So my dad did that, and he became a shell of the person he used to be. And then he decided to quit. And so I don't know where he is now.
No, he got into a power struggle with Branton and essentially lost his position. Okay. So now he had lost his faith, and he had lost his position, and his wife got killed in the process.
Mm-hmm.
And his daughters basically left him because he got his wife killed.
Right. And she's like, well, Mabuna's got to be somewhere, but he's not at that.
It's like Mavray
Mabasa or
definitely not Maboon.
He's got to be somewhere, but he's not at that one temple. We know that. And then Denim's like, well, you know what? My friend Wallister, or whatever his name is, says Warren. I don't know. Someone's told me about another temple, like an ancient temple. He could be there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And she's like, oh yeah.
So, well, we swing back through Almorica Castle to talk to Warren. And he tells Denim. So there's a big reveal here. Warren is one of the Knights of Lotus, along with Canopus, who is one of our longtime party members, and Lancelot Good. and he's injured, I think, at Morky Castle.
Oh, he's the one who
Talk to
tells
him,
you
and
about
Denham's
that
like,
temple, right?
Yeah. Well, they talk about a temple, and it is the same temple, so it's a little silly.
So yeah, he got.
but
we never saw him get injured or anything, but he's just like laid up in bed.
Yeah, Denham is like, tell me the truth about why you Knights of Lotus are here. And he tries to play it off at first, and Denham's like, then get the fuck out. Tell me the truth or leave, I don't want to fight you, but I'm not doing this anymore. And Warren finally comes clean and tells us that the Knights of Lotus are here on a secret mission from their king. And the whole banished from Lotus thing is a ruse.
Yeah.
They are here to find the sword Brynhildr. Brynhildr.
Yeah, Brynhildr.
And legend says that it's like extremely powerful, and it's like a relic of Lotus, and they want it back. But the Dark Knights have it. And the Knights of Lotus initially had assumed that the Dark Knights had brought the sword back to Lotus, but no, they actually kept it here in Valeria, and that's their whole mission is to get that sword back.
This whole thing is getting very fantasy all of a sudden. Like, it's been relatively grounded, and now it's like, oh, the blood seal on the crypt, and we have to get the holy sword, and blah, 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 blah.
I agree. We said this last week, actually, so I don't want to belabor the point, but, like, the game, I felt, played the fantasy stuff a little too close to the vest for the first...
I have been killing Medusas
game,
out in those random encounters.
Well, obviously, but, like, the actual plot-relevant stuff, I think it played a little too close to the vest, and which made, I think, the beginning of this game kind of boring, but, like, now we're finally getting there, and that's why I think Tactics is superior, because it's, like, a quarter of the way into the game, and they're like, also, there's Zodiac monsters.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, cool.
So we head to... Boy, I'm going to try to pronounce this. Hagia Ben-Hamuba.
Yeah, sort of like the Hagia Sophia, like it's an old temple.
Where we find Sherry.
Sherry's sister number 4.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Sherry.
Yes.
I work in accounting.
Well, she works at kidnapping her father and holding him prisoner because that's what she's doing.
I work in kidnapping and holding prisoners.
Is she kidnapping and holding him prisoner, or is she like the one sister who stays at home to take care of the aging parent, and then the other three sisters all have their opinion about what they should do with him, and she's like,
he's tied up, and he's like, no, Sherry, don't do this.
Well, maybe she knows what's best for him.
She wants to take him to Heim because she wants the secret of the Apocrypha.
Ooh.
The Apocrypha we visited last time?
I don't know.
No, Apocrypha isn't a place, it's a thing.
Oh.
Like apocryphal text.
Like a funny name.
Yeah, the art, the whatever of rhyme, the Archaeopolis.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's right, the Archopolis.
The Archopolis.
Whatever.
Archaeopolis of rhyme.
She wants the Apocrypha. They don't really explain what that is before Denham shows up.
Well, apocryphal texts, the Apocrypha in Christianity are the books that have been removed or declared like non-canon in like the original use of the term canon, like non-canonical texts. We're not
supposed to talk about those, Johnny. The Bible is infallible except for when those were in there, but then they figured it out and they took them out and it's fine.
Yeah. So that's what the Apocrypha are. Non-canonical texts.
So,
I think this is just an excuse for us to fight a big monster at the end, Matt. That is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, you're probably right. The sisters, like, we fight Sherry and her crew, and it's kind of fun because if you've got all the sisters in your party, they will, like, they will argue with her, which is, I thought, pretty fun. Like, it felt pretty true to life to have all these girls, like, fighting.
I've So I really like this fight. She doesn't have those. So every time those Templars show up, they seem really hard to kill. They aren't in this fight. This fight is just like dragoons and lots of ninjas. So many ninjas. A couple of those annoying knights that do the stun move, the Dark Knights, and then there's a few healers. But this was fun. I accidentally defeated Sherry. I believe you can kill Sherry because
you can kill her, or you can bring her down to like 20% health, and if you do, she'll flee.
Yeah, she just I did a berserker sweep, and I didn't think it would even damage her that much, but it did make her pick up her gem and be like, all right, I'm out of here, and then she zapped out.
Yeah.
But yeah, before I started the fight, the dad made me promise not to hurt her.
Yeah, well, he makes you promise not to kill her, and also once you do that, so Vanessa, did you kill Sherry or did you save her or spare her?
Neither. This was one of those fights where, because I had it set where all the enemies had 1 hit point. She
oh yeah, she just.
All right, so you spared her.
Yeah,
I spared her, I guess.
Yeah. You rescue their father, and he asks you if you will wage war upon your sister. And you can say basically yes or no. I said no.
I also said no.
Now, I believe to get your sister into the party, you have to say yes.
I don't know if that's true.
Well, I said I would. I was like, yeah, sometimes you gotta be the ogre. Sometimes the tactic is to be the ogre. Tactics ogre.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I said.
Mm-hmm. What's this about Sherry?
You can, after this, go to somewhere. I don't remember the name of it. One of the places we've been before. And you will, if you go and you have the at least Olivia, but maybe all of them in your party, you will run into Sherry, and you can recruit her and add her to the party as well.
Why would you? She sucks. I guess just to have a complete set.
Yeah, to have a complete set of sisters.
Well, the named characters are more powerful than the randoms.
Yeah.
So
right.
It's like she slots in as your wizard, basically, and she's better than your wizard.
Okay.
Or witch. She's a witch, and the witch it's not even the wizard. The witch is the opposite of the what is it? The warlock, which is like the upgraded wizard class, wizard enchantress class. So I recruited her. She's good. She's a good wizard. I don't know. Who cares?
I should go looking for her. Maybe it's not too late.
Yeah, it wasn't hard. I was looking at a guide, and the guide was like, you have to go when it's raining hard. And I was like, I don't know what that means. And I went there, and it just happened. So maybe they made it easier for the remake. I don't know. Anyway, we get a fun cutscene here. We cut to Abuna Branton.
Abuna Branton?
And he's dreaming, and someone or something in his dream is telling him to make haste.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like a sort of big black blob, and it's like... It's talking Cthulhu talk.
I didn't see a blob. I just saw a door. But maybe it's different in your version.
Isn't a blob sort of a door?
Attention.
No. Is a door a puzzle? Yes.
He wakes up in Barnicia Castle, and by a messenger,
he's like,
who
"Whew,
informs him that Sherry,
just a dream." And he was sleeping.
Yeah, exactly.
He was sleeping in his chair. That's not comfortable.
I can't say I don't do that sometimes.
Yeah, we've seen you.
He's informed that Sherry has not returned, but he doesn't even give a shit. They're like, should we go rescue her? No, fuck Sherry.
Yeah, he doesn't care. Johnny?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Can I ask you about Ozma?
Yeah, because I got a couple of scenes so far, like, where Ozma and her like companion are getting into fights because she keeps asking about like, so Hopgrim, he's dead. Branton told me he's dead, and her buddy's like, yeah, he's totally dead. And she's like, but I'm pretty sure I just saw him and his eyes were popped out. He's not dead. And why would Branton lie to me? And then...
Oh, Hobram?
Yeah.
Hobram?
Hobram.
Yeah.
Hobram.
Our blind sword master.
Yeah. And then you find out... So this is an optional fight. You go to, I think, Almorica, that little town, and she's there with her buddy, Danak, I think his name is, something like that.
Yeah, Danak.
Yeah, and
these are turning into Star Trek names.
Mm-hmm.
Goldenok.
And I did have Hobgrim in my party, and she's like, "Hey, what's going on? That's Hoggrim." And Danak's like, "No, it's not. That's just somebody else. What are you talking about?" And she's like, "No. Okay, so I have like a husband that I was supposed to marry named Hoggrim, and that's that guy." And she asks him straight out, "Are you my husband?" And he's like, "You can choose to say yes or no, but I chose to say yes." And she's like, "Okay, so I've been lied to this whole time. This guy that I trusted, turns out that he blinded my husband and then kicked him out of the...
Husband or fiance?
Or fiance, and then kicked him out of the castle. And this sucks. But you still... So the battle here is to defeat her and Danak. But if you defeat Danak first and then just get her to critical without killing her, then you will recruit her. And she and him have, like... He tells her about how he was blinded by Branton, who was his brother, and he is...
Wait, Branton is his brother?
Yeah, I think so.
What?
Like brother?
Yeah.
Because that would be weird.
Why?
Information we learn later.
Oh, okay. I think it's Branton. One of the guys. It might not be Branton. I think it's Branton is his brother.
Is it one of the Dark Knights?
Oh, maybe. Maybe it was one of the Dark Knights.
Branton's not a Dark Knight. He's an Abuna. Baxelfon?
Yes!
Visual?
Yeah, I think it is Mr. Metzelplick. Sorry,
Yeah.
Yeah, Braxelfon is his brother. That's it. And his brother blinded him and accused him of murdering his dad, but Braxelplick murdered his dad. He and his mom later. And
this is all very shocking, especially because when I fought Oz and Ozma together,
yeah,
he was definitely in my party, and he didn't say anything about... Well, I guess he can't see, so he didn't recognize her.
Oh, yeah, Haboyam, yeah. But you would think he would recognize the voice!
Maybe she speaks with an evil accent now. You know, like when a lady goes evil. And she used to talk like this, but... Then she talks like this.
He had a sweet mullet in this flashback with him and Braxelglock. Like he had a really cool mullet back then. But his eyes were plucked out and he was cast away, and now he is like a cool blind fighter. And he reunites with his fiance. And
he's a daredevil.
Yeah. So I think that's cool. I don't know if they're going to get back together or not, but they're, at least they're hanging out again. They're talking.
Yeah, they've both been through a lot. I can see that maybe it wouldn't work out to just kind of pick things up right away. Mm-hmm. She's been sleeping with her brother.
Oh, well, I never got any incest stuff. I think those scenes are reserved for your...
It might have been my interpretation of the subtext.
Oh.
But it was there.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is very Games of Thronesy.
Yeah.
We head back to Fidget Castle, where Denim is informed that the princess, Katua, has been spotted at Barnicia Castle, and we decide to go rescue her.
Yeah.
And Denim's like, we're going to war. And he does some cool tactics stuff where he's like, a regiment will go here and distract them, and then we'll go assault the castle. Also, I meant to mention this at the beginning of the episode. Denim got a cool character portrait change.
Mm-hmm. And a sprite change. He's wearing like white armor now instead of his little kitty suit.
He looks great.
Kitty suit?
Well, I don't know. He's wearing like boy clothes before, and now he's got like a full set of armor.
Johnny's claims that everyone in this show is wearing a kitty suit are pretty extreme.
Well, kid
Almost
or
as
cat.
extreme as me calling it a show, which it is not.
Mm-hmm. Everyone in this show.
Everyone in this show wears a cat suit.
Mm.
So there's a few fights in between, but I don't think much of note happens. So we arrive at Barnicia Castle, and we do have to fight our way through. There's 3 battles here, and our second battle, we face off against the Dark Knight, Barbas.
Yeah, what's this guy's
I don't recognize
deal?
this guy. I don't know who he is, but everybody has a fucking history with this dude.
Yeah.
This fight was nonstop chatter. Canopus, both of the White Knights, everybody that has a named character talks shit to this dude.
Yeah. Even Lancelot Bad talks shit to this dude.
That's true. At the beginning of the fight, Lancelot Bad and Katua are there, but they decide to withdraw further into the castle before the battle begins. And we beat this guy, but he does also teleport out of there, which is fucking annoying.
Now, he's the guy who was, like, setting fire to Rhyme, and he was the one who was in the fight with Lancelot Good. You also, I did get that fun cutscene of Lancelot Good all chained up. That was pretty funny.
Yeah. I mentioned that when you were at the bathroom at the beginning.
Oh, sorry.
Beginning of the chunker. Anyway, finally we reach the inner castle, and Lancelot Bad wants to flee, but Katua wants to make a stand. She's like, I'm sick of running. Mm-hmm. Denim tries to convince her to come back, like, stop being evil. Like, it's fine, but she's just all fucking venom. She's a fucking snake.
Mm-hmm.
And we do fight them, their troops, and Lancelot Bad and Katua. By the way, Lancelot Bad, holy shit does he hit hard. He did an attack on Denim that did over 1,000 damage.
Wow.
What?
And somehow didn't kill him.
How many hit points
He had, like,
does Denim have?
He had like 1 hit point left, and then it petrified him, and Denim was just locked out of the rest of the fight.
Oh, wow.
Somebody did walk by and drop a full heal on him, which I really appreciated. And by somebody did walk by and drop a full heal on him, what I mean to say is I may have turned the AI on for some of these fights.
Mm-hmm.
I tried that for a bit, but they're not great at picking targets.
They're not great. They're not great at picking targets. A couple of my fighters spent this entire fight because I was working, so I just kind of was, and we had to record tonight, so I did just kind of turn on AI for this fight and put it up and leaned it up against my monitor and was like, I'll just keep an eye on it. And like 3 of my fighters were like, we'll go the other way, like we'll go around, and just kind of hung out in the corner the whole time. It was garbage. Mm-hmm. Though also, at the beginning of this fight, my AI-controlled cleric, it's Olivia, I believe, used a magic potion on herself to give herself like 200 hit points or 200 magic points or whatever. And then, no, it wasn't her. It was the whoever it was. It was the witch. Used a magic potion on herself to give herself magic, and then attacked in the same turn, which you can't do. You can't do that.
Huh.
You can't do that. She can.
Yeah, the fucking AI can.
So
Seriously.
I've been driving. I got a Toyota BZ4X, and it has a adaptive cruise control, which like turns. It'll just follow the road basically, and it will slow down if the cars in front of you are slowing down and all that. But it's just not very smart. I don't like it. Like, it'll kind of get up close to a car. Say that you're driving 60. There's a car going 40 in the lane. It'll go up real close to the car going 40 and then just kind of slam on the brakes. Like, it's not smooth or good. And anytime that there's a turnoff, if you're in the right lane and there's a little exit, it'll like get really confused and start wobbling around, being like, I don't know which way to go. And then like it'll beep at you that you have to hold the steering wheel or like, make.
You shouldn't be using that.
I'm not. I just wanted to see what it was like, and it sucks. I don't know how this is a feature that's being advertised to people. And I was reading about...
Maybe they shouldn't have that shit in these cars.
I know.
It doesn't fucking work. That's terrifying.
Yeah, it's not good. I wouldn't use this. Like, it's unless I wouldn't use it if there's basically any traffic. If there's no traffic, whatever, it's just cruise control. But it's so bad at judging what to do. And apparently, like, I was reading a review of the new Ford one, and it's just like that. And apparently Tesla's is just like that. And then there's a study that the Tesla autopilot is fine as long as it's not dawn or dusk, raining or snowing, and the road is straight and there's no traffic lights or other cars. It's like, no, don't use it. It's not. Anyway.
Yeah.
So my Nissan Kicks that I just bought has it has all the sensors around it, you know, like it'll sense when I'm like close to the line.
Yeah, that's fine.
Which, well, I hate it.
Oh.
Like, I know where I am. Thank you. But like I'm there's a curve in the road. I'm riding the line a little bit. Like, I'm not on it, but I'm close to it because that's how I ride a curve. What do you want from me?
Yeah.
Anyway, I have noticed that if it is sunset, it happened today. If it is sunset, or if it's raining, the front sensor will flash the "you're too close to something" thing at me constantly.
Oh, wow.
Like, it thinks I'm about to rear end somebody.
Huh.
Now, in the
awful.
rain, I kind of understand it, but it was happening to me today when I was just driving towards the sunset. Like, I was driving west, right towards the sunset, and the car was just freaking out. And I legitimately was like, can I turn this off?
You must be able
leave me the fuck alone.
There's like because mine will sort of, it's happened once when I was driving and it thinks a car's coming to hit you. It'll kind of start grabbing the wheel to let you know, hey, you should be getting out of the way. And that was fun. Like, it was wrong. It was just a car was about to take a left turn. And so it was sort of, you know, in the direction of coming to me, but it wasn't moving. But it does a slight movement. Like, you can just correct and it's fine. But there's a mode I can turn on that helps drive, that like will slow you down towards red lights and when other cars are stopped, and sort of just keep you from hitting things. But it was so paranoid, and it would make me like it would really harshly stop at stop signs and stoplights, like just slam on the brakes in a way. I was like, okay, I drive way smoother than this. Normally, I like to coast towards stoplights. Like, all the ways that I drive, that I've been taught to drive, don't work with this assistance, and it makes my driving worse. So I turned that off. Anyway, just wanted to have a little rant about AI driving.
We murder Katua.
What?
You murder Katua. My
What?
experience here was completely
Hang on,
different.
can I at least get through what happened when I murdered Katua before you?
Well, she just doesn't want to be
you?
lumped in with your
I don't want to be lumped in with
Katua.
we. I want to hear what happened to you, and then I'll tell you what happened to me.
We fight Lancelot and Katua and the gang, and eventually the AI that I had turned on murdered Katua.
Wow.
Now, I will say this. I read, I don't know if it's true, I read that the only way to get the Lord class for Denim is for Katua to die.
Wow.
So it kind
Well,
of made me
Vanessa's
be like,
proved you
well,
wrong with that one.
Yeah, I had the
No.
Lord class from the beginning.
No, yeah, if he cheats on, which I don't have on the Switch. Anyway, I killed Katua. And as she dies, she realizes and says, Denim, you really did need me. Which seems weird. Like, we just killed you.
Yeah.
I think that's proof positive that we did not need you, Katua. Lancelot is super pissed off, mostly because his plans are in shambles, and he calls Denim a murderer, which fucking LOL coming from this dickbag. And that's it. That's the end of the fucking chunker for Matthew. I killed Katua, and the fucking battle ends, and Lancelot flees again. And, yeah. And that's it for me. Vanessa.
So I
know
did
yours was different.
not attack Katua during this battle. I focused on Lancelot, and once he was sufficiently injured, he decided to flee. He used his magic gem, and he's like, Katua, I gotta go. Like, sorry about that. You're still the super queen or whatever. Like, definitely
Bye.
wanna... Yeah, bye.
Call me.
She's super pissed because she already had abandonment issues, and now she's been abandoned again.
That's true.
So then we cut to a conversation between Denim and Katua, and Katua is talking about how she feels like Denim is just going to use her and sort of install her as a figurehead, and he says, no, you're my sister, I love you, I really want you to have your kingdom if that's what you want, and you'll be completely in charge. And then we have a couple of dialogue options here. She sort of accuses us once again of abandoning her, and I told her, no, you're my sister, I love you. And then she asks, is ending this war really that important to you? And the sort of two options that I had were, yes it is, or no, I only care about you. And so I decided to tell her the truth, which is, yeah, ending the war is important to me. She looks a little bit pensive about this, and she takes a few steps away, and she's like, okay, I've heard what you have to say. I understand where you're coming from. I
respect your decisions.
She respects your decisions. She doesn't want, however, to be a continued burden for Denim. So what she does do is take out a knife and kill herself. Yeah, so she just stabs herself in the stomach right in front of Denim, and she's like, guess I won't be a burden to you anymore. Jab, 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 jab,
Good
jab.
Lord.
And she dies.
If you make the other choice
Yeah.
at that first junction, she'll do the same thing.
But apparently there is a way to get her to join your party, but you have to be like, no, you're the most important. It's all you. Katua forever. Only sister matters. And I did not choose those options. So she's dead.
You did all that work to save her, and then she fucking died anyway. I'll tell you what, I don't know, like, in a way, listen, content warning, suicide is never okay at all. And I don't mean to imply this, but it seems pretty obvious that this game is railroading you into killing Katua. Unless you completely fucking submit to her and her whole whatever, which her whole point of view, which if you've played this game is bad. It's a bad fucking point of view. Like, she's not a fascist like Lancelot, but she just doesn't fucking care. She's a sociopath.
Yeah,
she doesn't give a shit.
Care about anyone except... No, I wouldn't even say she cares about Denim, to be honest. Like, she only cares about him in relation to, like, what he's providing to her. So
yeah,
she needs someone to kind of be hyper-focused on her, to the point where Denim believes that his childhood memories are all about her and seems to have forgotten, like, his other friends entirely.
Well, and this is your sibling. Like, hey, like, maybe get married or something, you know?
Yeah.
Like, maybe find a man that'll give you what you want, and don't demand that your brother provide this for you.
Well,
because
Matt,
that's not
they're
how life works.
Technically, biological siblings.
Well, I know
would
that.
be legal for them to get married.
No.
Maybe that was her plan all along. Well, she had
Johnny,
Vice, who was super into her, and then she
That's
drove
true.
him to the gallows.
Mm-hmm.
I guess
But she friend-zoned him,
Yeah.
you know? She friend-zoned him.
Yeah.
She's one of those girls that you see post on Twitter or whatever, and that's like, I had this boy that was really into me, and I kept rejecting him, and then I saw him a month later, and he was with this new girl, and I just cried.
Aww. There's a song about
That's
that.
not a real thing that happens. I swear to God, that's bots on Twitter that say things like
He
that.
was there's this girl I
Riz
knew,
up the manosphere.
and she knew this guy who was really into her, who was a skater boy, and she was like, "No, see you later, boy. He wasn't good enough for her."
All right, Johnny, you had a different experience from either of us here, I believe.
Well,
Because you said that you would fight Katua, which I believe means that she will not fight you in this battle.
well, you know how I didn't play the last 3 battles because I didn't have time this morning?
Yeah, I forgot.
Yeah.
I forgot.
So I guess we'll hear about what happened with that last time. Yeah, after Katua
Well, but you did...
After Katua stabbed herself, I did want to, know if it was possible to save her, so I read about it. And I vaguely thought about, trying to reload so she could live, and then I was like, I can't be bothered. It almost seems like...
I am considering it. I'm considering it, because for me, it's just one fight that I would have to redo.
Right.
I could do it.
And then you
But
have to
also,
pick the
I
right
really
dialogue options afterwards.
But I also really want that Lord class for Denim.
Yeah.
And
I
with
felt bad, though, because Abuna Prancet was like, please don't hurt your sister, and then I murdered her.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't me. It
I
was one of my
definitely
white
didn't
knights.
hurt my sister. I feel innocent in this whole affair. My hands are clean. And also, she's just so irritating. I mean, I kind of just want her back.
Yeah, she sucks. Johnny, remind me who is the designer of this game? The
Matsuno?
guy. Matsuno? He's got a thing for princesses stabbing themselves in the tummy,
Yeah.
Because it happens in Final Fantasy Tactics.
Does she stab herself? No, she stabs, yeah.
Yeah, while I was writing the notes, Vanessa, I saw the whole what happens with Katua if you don't kill her, and I felt a little justified for killing her. I was like, oh well.
Yeah.
Seems like she's probably not getting a good ending either way.
So
and I mean, even if I keep her alive, I just feel like she's going to do something dumb next time, so.
I spent way too long this past weekend leveling up Ranger, which is Vice's class, because he's in my party now. That it's sort of like an archery ninja, I guess. He can do double swords, he can do all sorts of things. It's not a bad class so far, but he's still only level 14, so he's not quite caught up with everyone else. And I've been leveling up Swordman, so I can do. They've got a dance, and he does do this old man does do a fun dance to cast strength on everybody. That's super useful. He needs more dances. I want a speed dance.
What do you mean Vice is in your party? He's dead.
Nope, he's super alive and in my party.
But how?
Well, because all that stuff never happened. Leonar killed the Duke wrong way, not Vice in my game. So
Right.
he never got arrested. He was never executed. He's still alive.
But how'd you hook back up with him?
Well, when the Duke, basically his army and my army kind of met up and he found out we were going to assassinate Duke Ronway, and it's like, I guess we should just join forces. We should just
All right, so next week we will play to the end of the Lasagna Fortress.
Ooh, the Lasagna Fortress.
Yep, the end of the Lasagna Fortress, which will take us into the Shrine Quest if you want to do that and you have some time.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't want to do that, you can skip it and play the Palace of the Dead. It's only 100 levels.
Well, this is great because
Nobody's
it will
doing that.
give us a little bit of time to do some side quests. I've never been to that forest.
I want to go to
Not
Pirate
worth going to
Town.
the Forest. I did do Pirate Town. We didn't talk about it. It's just a fight. I think that you can maybe circle back around and recruit him.
Oh,
later.
yeah.
Yeah, we can talk about it next time.
But for next week, we will play to the end of the Lasagna Fortress, and then the week after that, we'll finish the game.
Can't wait. That
Now
sounds
let's
delicious.
talk about what we are squarely against.
I like
Vanessa,
it when lasagnas
please.
get a little crispy around the edges.
It's the best part of the lasagna.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm squarely against Katua.
Yeah, you are.
She's awful. She doesn't. She just behaves poorly. She doesn't think about others when she takes action. And she doesn't seem to have any compassion or ability to understand other people's point of view.
Hey, I think she would be a really shitty queen.
100%. That's a great point, Matt.
Yeah,
She seems to lack
she would
empathy.
just be like governing based on grievances and kind of whoever flatters.
You didn't pay enough attention to me. Your whole fucking
Whoever
county
flatters
is
her
raising your
will
taxes.
get special attention and be called cool, even though they might be.
Imagine having a leader like that.
Yep, just an idiot despot. Anyway,
Somebody will piss them off. They'll be like, they're eating the cats, executing the babies.
Meanwhile, my leader's just like, oh, what? This trillionaire just invited me to their private island for a vacation. That's not unethical. It's a little.
It sounds like all of our Supreme Court justices. All right, Johnny, what are you squarely against?
I am. I'm gonna say, I'm roundly for the Swordman class. It's real fun. I like the music when he does his dances. It does like Japanese style
it's
drum music, and it's really cool.
He's got one that breaches everybody, which basically like makes them take a shitload of damage, and it's fucking great.
Yeah, and it only affects enemies. It's not like everyone in your zone. Like
Yeah.
So roundly for Swordman. What about you, Matt?
Hey, I'm roundly for some of the. We didn't talk about it really in this episode, but I finally hit the like level 30. Weapon level 30 attacks. You get special attacks every 10 levels that you have in your weapon of choice. And some of them are fucking awesome. Like,
You can go with this.
suddenly you get your melee characters will have like area of effect attacks that will do like 600 damage to everybody it hits. And it's fucking awesome.
Walk without rhythm. You won't attract the worm.
I don't know what that has to do with anything. It feels like a total non sequitur.
I enjoyed it.
I'm familiar
though.
with twimmers, but I think I just said twimmers.
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 Listeners will understand.
I understood.
All right. Well, before we dive into all of our great like Patreon plugs and all that stuff, we're gonna do our new thing, which is to discuss how we leveled up. Has anybody ever noticed how at the end of the episode, when I'm the the quest log host, I just take over being the host?
Yeah.
I do it every time
You love it.
because I get tired of waiting for people to say things and I just talk.
I know. You can't bear that dead air because that's when you're alone with your thoughts.
Oh no.
Well, and also because I want to wrap this fucking thing up.
I'll go first. It's time
No,
for
I
me.
want to ask. I was going to ask Johnny. No, it's fine, I guess. Butt your way in. The cat wants to go into my bathroom for some reason. What do you want in there?
So, how I leveled up, I watched a movie called Rebel Ridge on Netflix.
Whoa.
Ooh.
That's for fancy rich people.
It's a movie for fancy rich people about corrupt
it's-
small town cops and one man who goes up against them. It feels very sort of 80s, and it's like one man versus many action.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's it, and it's also
I mean, that's just Rambo, right?
it's kind of Rambo.
Well, First
and
Blood.
It's kind of Rambo First Blood, and it's kind of like a 90s thriller sort of vibe. It's directed by Jeremy Saulnier, who directed Green Room, which you may remember as being the freaky old show with Patrick Stewart as like a Nazi.
Oh yeah.
And
I never watched that because I heard it was real gross.
I do want to
Real
see
gross.
I
it.
don't like gross stuff.
but it was good. It's a good action movie. It has a little bit to say, like more than you might expect. And I enjoyed it a lot.
Like dialogue?
Dialogue? Yeah, it has dialogue.
Do they have shots and editing?
It has shots and editing. It has scenery. It has sets and props.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's got a lot. I also watched something else, which I definitely remember what it was. And that thing was... I don't remember. Okay, Johnny, how did you level up?
I've been watching more Ghosts, and I talked about that last time, but I think that's pretty much like all I've been doing, other than for whatever reason YouTube has been suggesting to me lots of cave diving horror stories of people getting trapped in cave dives.
Ooh, that's too creepy.
That shit makes me so freaked out. I can't watch it.
And apparently, like, there's a big one. The Eagle's Nest out in Jacksonville is a big one that a lot of people have died in.
We hate the cave. We hate the cave. We evolved to come out of the cave, and we don't want to go back.
Then why do all these people go cave diving?
Because they're dumb.
It looks
That's
neat, but
victim blaming,
I get very
guess.
claustrophobic. I don't think I would be good. Especially like any of these cave videos that like this one guy has. It's not GoPros from the incident, but it's like other people exploring the cave. He uses their GoPro footage to show what the cave is like. It's like, oh yeah, here you just have to crawl on your stomach, and there's about 10 inches of clearance. Like, no.
Have you ever read that Junji Ito story?
The Hole?
Manga Hole?
Yeah. This is my hole.
That's what I think of every time. And it's not that this is my hole, which is brilliant. Mm-hmm. But it's the way that he then like shows the people just like shimmying further and further in to the point that they're trapped, but they're just working their way through anyway. Mm-hmm. And it just chills me to the fucking bone.
Yeah,
that's the best horror story ever written.
Mm-hmm.
Caves are terrifying. I've heard some stories about that where like people just kind of take a wrong turn and then go down a path that there's no room for them to turn around or go back. And
or it like dips
awful.
like what happens several times and a couple times in this. I think the Nutty Putty Cave, which is one of the famous ones where a couple of people have died.
It's a really cute name for a nightmare.
If you see the inside, you see why it's called that, because it's like this kind of stone that looks like Nutty Putty. Like it's very interesting, but yeah, you can end up crawling forward and then be like getting stuck with your head pointing down. Like, oh. I think I could never be a spelunker, because if anything that required me to crawl through very confined spaces, you know what? Just send me a picture. It's fine.
I just don't understand how
I'm
it
right
can
there
be
with you.
worth it. Like, I mean, you can see a picture of a cave on your television right now. You don't have to go into a cave.
Well, also, if you're that desperate to get in there, maybe, like, chisel it out first so that you can get in. Mining is a thing. You don't have to squeeze
I
through.
don't think you should
I
necessarily
want to play more
destroy
Skyrim
nature.
VR and explore caves
No, you
that
should
way.
absolutely destroy nature. Nature's a nightmare.
Anyway, so that's really what I've been doing is watching cave videos, because they're fun yet horrifying. Matt,
Doesn't sound fun.
how did you level up?
Well, I hate to pile on to the I watched thing. I know that,
Whatever.
everybody
Look, we're
watches
busy
things,
people.
But I watched a okay animated movie called Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 3. That's right. The DC animated movie universe, whatever they're calling it these days, finally released their Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 3 movie, and it was pretty good. Like, it was better than the first two, which weren't very good. Why did I watch the first two? To make it to the third one? I don't know, but I was pleased that the third one at least was pretty good. It wasn't amazing. The animation, they kind of like, they've ditched the like 2D, like hand-drawn animation, and it's all very CGI these days. And I don't mean that like added into like a physically shot movie. What am I supposed to do about this? Like, Vanessa's making faces at me. I don't know how I'm supposed to talk.
Well,
She's making
she
faces.
hasn't. I think she hasn't been using her phone or her Switch all episode, which is really great. But she's been doing bizarre things with her hands the entire time. Like at one point she was doing like the Bat-usi.
It's weird that you pronounce it Bat-usi when it's very clearly a Batman dance called the Bat-usi.
Oh, sorry.
Bat-usi.
Bat-usi.
This is why I have to have something to occupy my hands. I don't understand.
No, you've been much more present. You've been much more present this episode, and I have loved it.
Yes.
Anyway, I watched Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 3. I won't say it made up for the first two movies being pretty bland, but it was good. I liked it. For sure. And I also started watching I'm a child. I'm a 42-year-old child. I have seen the animated series Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes, recommended online for years. I'm a big fan of the Justice League, the animated series, and the Justice League Unlimited animated series. I think they are just way, way better than they should be, and I've even talked about it on the show multiple times because I've watched it several times over the years. And I finally decided to watch, I was bored the other day, and I finally decided to watch some of this Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes show. It ran on Disney for 2 years, for 2 seasons. And you know what? Like I'm super hooked. It's very good.
Oh.
Better than I could have imagined, because I have definitely watched a lot of the other Avengers related shows and Marvel animated stuff, and it's all pretty fucking bad. You know?
I'm really surprised to be hearing this.
But this one show that only lasted 2 seasons, and I really fucking hope has a satisfying ending. I know that they ditched it. It started coming out around the time that the first Avengers movie started coming out, and it uses a lot of that as a basis, but also does its own thing with a lot of stuff. Like Ant-Man and the Wasp are a big part of the team, which is true to the original comics and not true to the movies. But it does mimic a lot of the stuff from the movies. It's a little in between the original comics and the movies, but I think it's fantastic. It's great looking animation, and stop fucking clawing at the door. You wanted to be in here. It's got fantastic animation, and it's really fantastic storytelling. Like, I'm shocked at how good it is. I'm about halfway through the first season, and I'm really excited to continue it. I hope that it does not, I don't know, I hope that it does not just kind of get canceled. There's a lot of shows. You know, there's multiple X-Men the animated series that just got canceled and just die. And I won't watch them. Evolution and whatever the other one is. Wolverine and the X-Men. Like, I'm not going to watch them, because even though I've heard they're good, I know that they just get canceled. And that's just, I'm not going to do it. But Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes is shockingly good. Comparable to Justice League and Justice League Unlimited. Like,
wow,
really
that's high praise.
Yeah, it really is. Great animation, great storytelling, mixed cast, great modernization of some of these plot lines that need modernization that the movies can't get to, because let's be honest, like, they can only put so many of those out per year, and whatever. It's fantastic. So that is how I leveled up.
I remembered what else I watched.
Okay.
It is a British series that I've watched before, and it was on a little bit of a hiatus.
Oh, no.
But it came back this last week.
It's not a hiatus. That's not a hiatus.
If you're in the United States, you can watch it on YouTube.
And Canada.
Actually. And Canada, every Friday. It's released, and it's called Taskmaster UK. That's right, the original flavor is back. Original, and let's face it, still the best. Is
the guy with the long hair in this season, is he from Countdown? Did he replace that Carol Vodeman?
No.
Okay. He said being good at math is his job, and was wondering what his job is.
A mathematician, I would assume. I haven't really Googled a whole bunch of these people.
I think you mean math magician.
Oh, right, mathematician. But I liked the cast so far. I thought it was a really strong first episode. And if you like Taskmaster, and why wouldn't you, watch it. If you like Taskmaster, you probably already are watching it.
What if I didn't finish the last season? Should I just dive into this new one, or should I go back and rewatch the last
Oh, you
season?
won't
I think you should
understand
do
what's
both.
happening.
You won't understand what's
Yeah,
happening
right?
in the new season. No.
Alex Horn is a lady now.
I wasn't familiar with any of... Well,
And
that's
she
not true.
transitioned during the last season. So you gotta watch the last season.
Yeah. There were 3 cast members that I am not familiar with at all. I was a little bit familiar with Jack D, because he's been a comic in the UK forever. And I was familiar with Rosie Jones, who is very, very funny, and I'm excited to see her on Taskmaster.
I felt like the season before last was so good that maybe that should have been the end of Taskmaster.
Don't ever say the words, "the end of Taskmaster," to my face again.
What about an end of Taskmaster?
No, you monster.
I'm a real Katua.
You are.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, we have a Patreon. We would love it if you would go subscribe. It is patreon.com/squareroots.
Please subscribe to the Patreon.
We're not resorting to begging, Vanessa.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. We've been losing patrons, so
Yeah, Christmas
Well,
is
people
coming.
are tired of us. They hate us.
Podcasting has peaked. That's what's happened. And also, no one has money for anything. It's $25 to have a meal at McDonald's somehow.
That's true. But the feds have
That's not
lowered the
true.
interest rate, and so if you're in the United States, you have no excuse not to subscribe to the Patreon.
Oh my God, I'm gonna be so busy because of that.
Anyway.
We have a Patreon, patreon.com/squarerootspodcast. We have 2 tiers. Tier 1, access to all of our bonus episodes, over 100 hours of content, mostly just us talking for an hour plus about whatever stupid bullshit we feel like talking about that week. Sometimes we play games, sometimes we watch movies, sometimes we do commentaries on movies, sometimes we play games. Sometimes we play other kinds of games. I don't know. It's good. It's there. It's fun. Honestly, I get it. Podcasts have peaked. People are not looking for 100
No,
plus
wait,
hours of
podcasts
content.
are back, man. Like, this season on Survivor, they have like 3 podcasters. One of them's John Lovett, and he's very famous.
John Lovett's the critic?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
It stinks.
I'm a master
Our second
thespian.
tier. Buy my book. Buy my book. I love that show. John Lovitz has grown into a huge piece of shit.
Really?
Our second
yeah,
tier.
he's mega.
What?
Our second tier. Oh yeah, what a shocker! One of these fucking rich fucking yes men that has spent the last 20, 30 years of his life being told, "What a great idea," is now MAGA. I mean, that defines the whole fucking movement. Okay. Our second tier allows you to vote on upcoming games. We are not voting on our next game, which is Dishonored, chosen by Vanessa, but the game after that will be a vote. So give it a couple of months and sign up, I guess. And we are also doing, or at least I am doing, votes on upcoming stream games. So if you want to get in on that, we're getting in on the ground floor of streaming video games. I think it's new. I don't think anybody's ever done it before.
With the greatest,
But you can
the
vote.
single best video game stream ever in history.
Execute the baby. I just did a vote for my next stream game. I'm hoping that Johnny and Jim will follow suit. We'll see what happens. Regardless, check out our Patreon. Tons of great content. Able to vote. It's great. And as part of being a patron, whether you are a tier 1, tier 2, or just a $1 a month subscriber,
Or $3,000.
all
It
of
can
the
happen.
names. And then Johnny will show you his feet. We read all of the names of our Patreons every week. Please don't show me your feet. He's biting his toes.
Oh, he did. He
That's
put it in his mouth.
disgusting.
It's true.
I don't want to read the Patreon. Let me go.
You like my socks?
Anyway, we read all of the Patreons.
He's putting
chunk
it
at a
close
time.
to the camera. He's wiggling it.
Oh, I'm sorry. We don't call them chunkers anymore. What do we call them? Hunkers?
Hunkers, yeah.
We're getting through our patrons one hunker at a time.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like to start us off by thanking Worked Muffin, Sean Gonzalez, Wedge Coon, Ross Hartley, Julie, Isaac Wright, Tracy the Borg Queen. Tracy, rethink your life choices. Dr. Fine, say everyone's name. Robert T. and, you don't have the right.
I'd like to thank Star Healer, John Scala, Sol Wagner, Sergeant Spaghetti, Amanda Pierce, Jason Timms, Cyril the Wolf, Hexagon, Eric Pidcabini, and David Arnold.
I'd like
Arnold.
to thank Wishbone is Super Gay, DJ The Dong Awoo, Gage Lackerite, Gigantified Micro Space Hamster, Seth G, Huxley Iguana, Eric Garby, Ward Childress, Angel, and Jamie Black
And I'd like to thank Jim.
for not being here.
Hope you're having a good time editing this episode. I'm going to spend the next 10 minutes farting directly into my microphone.
Don't
I
do
definitely
that.
dropped something heavy on the floor at one point during the recording, so he can look forward to that.
Yeah.
My chair is so squeaky. Good luck. I hope that it's not being picked up on my mic, but I don't know. My cat wants in my bathroom again. You want out of my room. You want in my bathroom.
There's
you want in my
probably a mouse
face. You
in
want to
there.
bite me.
Well,
you want
Jim-
out of my room.
Jim-
Mouse.
Forgot his fidget spinner or whatever he uses last time, and he was literally drumming on his desk, and I had to edit that
He's
out.
been doing that. He's been doing that since he started taking drum
Oh,
lessons.
boy.
It's obnoxious.
Send us an email. You know our email address.
Though on the other
It's
hand, boy, you like to type while we were
squarerootspodcast@gmail.com.
fucking record. Huh?
If you absolutely cannot be bothered to send an email, please come visit us at our Facebook group, the Square Roots Podcast Group for smart, cool, very attractive people, and be-skeet us at squarerootspod.bskeet.social.
Please rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google, Spotify, Ghana, or wherever. Thanks to Stephen Morris for our Square Roots theme. You can find Stephen on YouTube. Links in the show notes. For Square Roots,
Farts.
I've been Johnny Brandon.
I'm Jim Banks.
I'm Vanessa.
And I'm Matthew Van Zandt. Bye!
America's number 132nd most important Taskmaster influencer. I keep falling in the rankings as more people find out about it. It's awful.
Ah, jeez.
You were having such a great hair day, and then you spent this whole episode twisting your hair, and now
Yeah.
it's over. You really
No,
fucked it up.
Looks good.
Yeah, no, it's over.
Bye!
Bye.